Now at 6, a woman is voicing her complaints against the State Department of Criminal Justice training, alleging sexism and discrimination. We'll break down the lawsuit.
Plus, the man accused of killing 3 officers and a police canine in Floyd County last year takes his own life while awaiting trial.
And we'll take you to the state capitol for a rally to solve hunger. How state leaders and nonprofits are addressing food insecurity.
I'm Chief Meteorologist T.J. Shuck, wrapping up February on a perfect note, literally. Light winds, sunshine, highs into the 60s, and we could see a few record highs heading into March tomorrow, believe it or not. I'll have that 7-day forecast for you coming up.
ABC 36 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, America Bivens.
And I'm Paxton Boyd. Thanks for joining us. A lawsuit filed in 2021 alleges officials with the Kentucky Department of Criminal Justice training retaliated against whistleblowers in the agency. Now 2 plaintiffs are speaking out ahead of their next court date, calling the retaliation sexist.
ABC 36's Anna Medina spoke with 2 women who say to this day, those involved are still in office and haven't been punished. It's our top story tonight at 6.
For Ashley O'Day, leaving a career she thought would be a lifelong one was like a bucket of cold water. She says she tried to do things the right way, only to be forced to leave the department, which is in charge of training law enforcement across the state. O'Day, alongside another plaintiff, Ashley Piercy, say everything changed after they reported what they believed to be a racist PowerPoint slide, adding that they reported it hoping to have it removed, but it never was. Shortly after an investigation they thought would be anonymous, they were demoted.
We were not expecting such repercussions to come to us. We were expecting somebody to say thank you for finding this and pointing it out.
I was questioning what am I supposed to be doing since my job tasks are taken away, and out of frustration, which is what the Deputy Commissioner John Schwartz has relayed in an investigation by the Justice Cabinet, was out of frustrations, called myself and another employee a
April O'Day and Ashley Piercy describing the fallout after reporting a PowerPoint slide they believed contained racist undertones. They say once they shed light on the slide that portrayed an African-American man being referred to as a gorilla pimp, which was being used in a training course for law enforcement, things began to go south.
I was in a meeting with my new supervisor at the time, Patrick Miller, who is also still currently employed with DOCJT, and I was told that they are a group of men and they are problem solvers. Me being the only woman, I immediately, that was very offensive to say that I'm a woman, not a problem solver.
It wasn't just those comments, but also the domino effect that would follow, including a demotion.
I was forced to sit and work side by side with someone whose husband had treated me so horribly. I had at that point had several complaints and grievances filed. She was aware, and it made everything extremely difficult in working in that environment.
Piercy and O'Day are no longer employed with the department and continue to seek justice, not just for themselves, but for others who they say are still living this nightmare.
To date, the Deputy Commissioner John Schwartz has never been reprimanded for using the offensive language. Commissioner Nikolai Jalek has never been reprimanded for calling myself and a colleague overpaid women doing irrelevant job tasks. I want accountability.
Now, the Department of Criminal Justice training responding to our questions on the lawsuit and says, quote, the Department of Criminal Justice training is dedicated to meeting the needs of officers and dispatchers by making positive changes that enhance training and support the 8,000 law enforcement officers who serve and protect the Commonwealth. Changes under this administration at DOCJT reflect the mission of the agency to move forward with the best criminal justice training and services while maintaining a professional and safe environment for all employees. Any claims to the contrary are meritless, end quote. Now, this coming from Kelly Foreman, the Public Information Office Supervisor at the department. ABC 36 is working on an in-depth exclusive investigation regarding the lawsuit and all parties involved that we hope to bring you later this week. For now, Anna Medina, ABC 36 News.
Another check on that forecast with our chief meteorologist, T.G. Shuck, wrapping up the whole month of February, if you can believe it. But it's been so incredibly beautiful today.
Absolutely.
Well, the irony of it all is that today is the end of meteorological winter, which is December, January, February. Climatological winter still got a couple of weeks to go. But speaking of winter, or the lack thereof, our average snowfall by this point at the end of February is generally a little over 11 inches. Since December 1st, how about 2.6? That's it. A year ago, we were at 18 and nearly a half. So, boy, what a change from this time last year. Blue Guys, Pace Care, Skyview HD Camera Network. Beautiful sunset on tap here within the next half hour. Sun on the way down. Our Hicks and Funson Cam, we're at 60. We've had that very pleasant and light, especially after all the wind yesterday, east to northeast wind. That eventually will go southeast later on tonight into early tomorrow. And once that warm front arcs through, we're going to be in business heading toward the 70s. But we're looking good, especially down south. I mean, much of southern Kentucky kind of flirting with the 70-degree mark through the afternoon, where we were well into the 70s to our south. So as we head through the evening, nice and pleasant. Temperatures will drop back probably upper 40s. I think we'll see our overnight lows middle of the overnight, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time you're out the door, we're in the low 50s. Winds pick up out of the southwest, and we head toward the mid 70s, and that will be a record here in Lexington. The record tomorrow, 73, set back in 1976. Now, by the evening, our in-house data indicating a few thunderstorms rolling in. That first wave of additional rain and storms coming our way, and that's going to make for a windy and wet into the week. But we've got our statewide tornado drill tomorrow as we kick off severe weather preparedness week here in the Commonwealth, March 1st through the 7th. Tomorrow morning, 10:07 a.m. Eastern, the statewide tornado drill. So, of course, no weather radios, your phones, outdoor sirens will all be going off to get you in that mindset, of course, of our severe weather season for the spring. So this is when you need to formulate a plan as we head into the heart of it, late March, April, May, and into early June. It's going to feel every bit of it and could see a few strong storms potentially. An awful lot of wind yet again on Friday. More on that coming up.
The man accused of killing 3 officers and a police canine in Floyd County last year during an ambush attack has taken his own life. The Fayette County Commonwealth attorney tells ABC 36 Lance Storrs died by suicide overnight. As we've reported, Storrs was in jail on 3 counts of murder of a police officer and 6 counts of attempted murder of an officer, along with multiple counts of wanton endangerment, assault, and assault on a service animal. Storrs is accused of opening fire on a group of officers serving a protective order on June 30th at his home. He pleaded not guilty to 20 charges last August and was due back in court soon.
The case against 4 people arrested and charged in connection to a Bath County man's death has been sent to the grand jury. As we've reported, Kentucky State Police says 20-year-old Shannon McCarty, 42-year-old Priscilla Ann Hunt, 18-year-old Jocelyn Brooks, and 40-year-old Crystal Gail Harden were all arrested in connection to the death of 41-year-old Christopher Bussell. They each face varying charges ranging from conspiracy to commit murder to harboring a fugitive and murder. Troopers say Bussell was found in a yard on East High Street on February 11th with multiple life-threatening injuries. He died at the scene.
A Lexington police officer has been placed on administrative assignment after an officer-involved shooting earlier this month. Police say on February 7th, officers were responding to a domestic violence report on Lonan Court when officers tried to make contact with 29-year-old Lucille White after she crashed a vehicle into a home and attempted to flee the scene, hitting a police vehicle, then accelerating at firefighters. Police officer Jordan Whitman then shot White before she was arrested and taken to a hospital. Whitman has now been placed on administrative assignment pending the outcome of that investigation.
A woman arrested in connection to a homicide 1 year ago in Lexington appearing in court today. Police say Jennifer Kashaba is charged with murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with physical evidence. As we've reported, police responded to the 2000 block of Cambridge Drive last February for a report of a person found dead near a dumpster. Kashaba is being held at the Fayette County Detention Center. Her bond's been set at $110,000. The court also says she has 3 pending cases in Ohio. Kashaba is due back in court on March 9th.
A 14-year-old hospitalized after reportedly falling over a dam in Harrison County this weekend has died. The Harrison County Sheriff confirms the Cynthiana teen, who was taken to UK hospital, died Monday afternoon. She's now been identified as Mia Woolhams. As we've reported, the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources says it responded to the South Fork of the Licking River Sunday evening, where a search was underway for a girl who had fallen into the water at Robinson Dam. Investigators say Woolhams was taking a photo when witnesses said she slipped and fell over. Harrison County Search and Rescue found her about an hour later. Now to an overnight dealership break-in and 6 vehicles that were reportedly stolen.
It happened at the Don Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership around 2 this morning. The manager there says the thieves found the keys for all 6 vehicles. They tell us 5 of those have since been recovered in various nearby counties, as well as other states, including Tennessee and Alabama. The manager says they're still looking for the 6th vehicle. The description has not yet been shared. We've reached out to authorities for more information.
Still ahead, the Supreme Court meeting today to hear 2 cases challenging President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan.
And at stake, forgiveness of up to $20,000 in debt for more than 40 million Americans. Latest in the U.S. Supreme Court coming up.
Well, wrapping up what has been one of our warmest Februaries on record here in Lexington, and it looks like carrying over to March tomorrow, we may set a record high as additional warm air is on the way. Your Storm Team forecast is coming up.
Well, an absolutely beautiful day out there to wrap up the month of February. Almost a little too beautiful. Wondering if this might be the calm before the storm?
Well, we got another wind event coming on Friday. It's just, you know, March can be a wild card, and it's like, okay, we're going to get the old payback with winter at some point. Maybe, but outside today, I mean, check this out. Literally outside the studio.
Well, coming up next, we'll take you to the U.S. Supreme Court hearing arguments today challenging President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan.
We'll tell you what's at stake for millions of Americans right after this.
You're watching ABC 36 News at 6.
Conservative justices in the Supreme Court's majority seem likely to sink President Joe Biden's plan to wipe away or reduce student loans held by millions of Americans.
That's a story we've been closely following. Chief Justice John Roberts led his conservative colleagues today in questioning the administration's authority to broadly cancel federal student loans because of the COVID-19 emergency. The plan so far has been blocked by Republican-appointed judges on lower courts. The Biden administration says 26 million people have applied and 16 million have been approved to have up to $20,000 in federal student loans forgiven. The program's estimated to cost $400 billion over 30 years. Coming up, the countdown to the Sweet 16 continues with the boys' 11th region tournament tipping off tonight.
Plus, it may be the last time we see a fan favorite play in Rupp Arena. We'll tell you how Oscar did it the Sheeb way coming up next in sports.
36 News at 6.
And here's your Kentucky Lottery Scratch forecast. As we kick off March tomorrow, we'll have a warm front sliding through the region during the overnight. So those southwest winds pick up and we head toward the mid-70s. Now, by this time tomorrow night, could see a few thunderstorms approaching from the west. But if we hit 76, that would best the record for March 1st. And then looks a little bit wet and stormy early Thursday, much of the day dry. And then the main system comes in Friday. No big shocker. Yet another wind event. We'll see wind gusts probably 45 to 55 miles an hour again. Could see a few stronger storms. And speaking of, Severe Weather Awareness Week begins tomorrow here in the Commonwealth. So even though we've seen a lot of wind this winter and a few strong storms here and there, now's the time to get your severe weather plan for the spring season set. And we have the statewide tornado drill tomorrow at 10:07 a.m. Eastern. So, of course, we'll have the no weather radios going off, your phones, outdoor sirens, that kind of thing. So it is that time of the year and could have a few strong storms. And speaking of spring, we are less than 2 weeks away from the time change. So here in less than 2 weeks, sunset will be about 7:45. So longer days,
Spring
more daylight.
It'll take another 2 weeks for me to get used to that. So
There you go.
No snow, just no snow.
Working on it.
done with it.